Hi guys, sorry if my voice is kind of gross. I have been sick recently, but today I would like to talk about Amberlynn Reid, a woman many of you may be familiar with. To a lot of people, her channel is like the reality TV of YouTube. Lots of internal drama, really unlikable people, and a lot of seemingly reckless spending. I say seemingly because I don't have an inner view on her finances, so I have no idea, but to a lot of people it comes off as reckless and irresponsible. But the origin of Amberlynn Reid's channel was as a weight loss channel. She wanted to hold herself accountable because she saw a lot of other people starting fitness channels, so she thought, oh, this would be a good idea. But as of now, it's kind of devolved into almost a spectacle of hypocrisy and a lot of lies. People refer to getting into the Amberlynn channel as, I think, the Amberlynn-verse, something like that. All you really need to know about Amberlynn's channel is that her goal was to lose weight, but she's gained about 200 pounds in 5 years. She tends to give up on weight loss programs really easily and very quickly. She'll start something then immediately post something like a mukbang the next day, so there's a lot of inconsistency in her content. And she's basically famous for that, her hypocrisy. So a lot of people hate watch her. So she's become pretty infamous on YouTube. And I say infamous because a lot of her viewers tend to hate watch her or watch her just to dislike her or whatever. I want to say that I'm not condemning anyone for hate watching. I indulge in it myself from time to time, but I have tried to pare back on it because it's like a waste of my time and it also gives the person money. But I digress. A lot of these people really dislike Amberlynn. Their entire channels dedicated to making edits of her vlogs and posting them under the titles like Amberlynn Reid cooking, Amberlynn Reid pretending to be a healthy girl, Amberlynn Reid worst food compilations, Amberlynn Reid complaining about how fat she is but she eats so much, etc, etc, etc. There are so many videos. Thousands. As you might have noticed, a lot of the titles are poking fun at her, and especially the dichotomy between the way she sees herself and the way her audience views her. So I just want to make it clear that I am in no way trying to pardon Amberlynn from the awful things she's done. I'm not going to rehash them here because that's not the point of my video, but if you look for it, you will find them. There are so many other people who have made videos on that. I'm not going to get into it. I do think that she needs to be held accountable for the things she's done, 100%, and in no way am I trying to let her off the hook for that. If you want to find out more about the things she's done, you can check out inabbers videos. He's a great resource on this, so I'll post some below. But I believe that there are a lot of people mocking Amberlynn in a rude, unconstructive, hurtful way, and I believe a lot of it stems from fat shaming and fat phobia. Fat phobia, for those of you who might not know, is the irrational fear of fat people. Also, I'm using the word fat because it is the way that Amberlynn self-describes herself, and I'm going to use the terminology that she deems appropriate to be respectful. And fat shaming is just what the name implies, shaming people for being fat. This often comes in many forms, one of them being overly scrutinizing the food fat people eat, policing the way fat people exercise, offering fat people unwanted lifestyle tips, saying things like you'd be prettier if you lost weight, and assuming fat people are fat because they're too lazy or unmotivated to change that. But an important thing to note here for people who might be saying, hey, that's not true, I just care about their health, fat people are inherently unhealthy. Let's debunk that myth right now. I'm defining healthy in the way that Vice writer Trevor Timm defined it. Not dying prematurely of shit you can likely prevent, like heart disease. And you don't need to be a fitness model to accomplish that. Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center says, while being overweight is a precursor to obesity and, like obesity, can increase the risk of diabetes, heart attack, and stroke, it's also possible to be overweight and still healthy, especially if you're free from chronic diseases like hypertension or diabetes. Psychology Today says, so yes, you can indeed be fat and healthy. As long as a fair amount of your excess body fat is beige, your excess flab doesn't compromise your health. Vice says, it is absolutely possible to be fat and fit, but like many things in life, fitness is a continuum, not a specific point, and there's always room for improvement. I think that makes a really good point. Fit or healthy does not look the same to everyone. We've been fed one cultural definition of fit. Skinny, muscular, thin, and with as little excess fat as possible. Side note, you do need fat to be healthy. Again though, real fitness does not look the same for everyone. You don't need to be super buff to be fit. You don't need to be super skinny to be fit. You don't even have to be an average weight to be fit. You just have to not be dying prematurely of shit that you can prevent. If your fit is the cultural definition of fit and that works for your body, that's great. But it's important not to go around applying those stereotypes to other people because everyone's body is different. That brings me to the assumptions of why fat people are fat. Some people assume that it is because they're lazy, unaware of how to eat healthy, don't care about their health, or that they're just not intelligent enough to exercise. None of these are all inherently true. They're not an umbrella cause for all fat people's fat. Here are the real reasons. Medical issues that make it extremely difficult to lose weight, such as hormone imbalances. Lack of access to healthy food, like if you live in a food desert. Lack of money to afford healthy food. Lack of access to safe places to exercise. Lack of time to exercise. Lack of time to devote to eating healthy, researching eating healthy. As you can see, a lot of these things relate to resources and time. And all of these things are out of someone's control. I don't think that anyone should be mocking anyone else for things that they can't control. For all you know, a fat person that you're mocking for being fat could be eating healthier and exercising more than you, so it's important not to pass judgment when you don't understand the condition someone is living in. This isn't to say that some people are fat just because they are unmotivated or lazy. I'm sure that's true for some, but to apply that assumption to all fat people is really problematic, and it's not fair when you don't know, again, what the inside of their life looks like. This brings me back to my argument. A lot of the criticism around Amberlynn Reid stems from fat phobia and fat shaming, at least partially. Again, it's not to say that a lot of the criticism around her is unwarranted, because it completely is, but it's pretty clear to see where the two mesh. One example is the myriad of hurtful nicknames for her. I'm not going to repeat them here because I don't think I want to bring that into the world on my channel, but there are so many awful nicknames for her based on her weight. Another example would be Tom Harlock's video about Amberlynn Reid that he posted, I think, in April or May. And to see a conventionally attractive, fit, cis male, for all I know, he might have heart disease also, but he presents in, you guys know what I mean. Anyway, to see him mocking a potentially mentally ill woman's weight for an entire video just rankled me. And a lot of the comments on that video were acknowledging that the things that he said about her were mean. They were like, oh my god, Tom, you're so mean and that makes me so attracted to you. And like, Tom, you're so mean, it's so funny. Hot take, I don't think that it's like savage or like cool to be like a dick to someone or mock them for something that they can't control. I just think that makes you super lame. The second that you start attacking someone for their appearance in an argument, it no longer holds any weight, in my opinion. And seeing a relatively famous YouTuber mocking a fat person is setting an example for his audience that clearly has an appreciation for that trait of his. They said, oh my god, it's so funny that you're so mean. I think that's a really hurtful example to set, especially when you have a large audience. Another example is the vested, almost obsessive interest in what she puts in her body. All the food compilations, all the haul compilations. Many thin YouTubers eat whatever they want and they vlog themselves doing it. Many thin people in real life do the same thing. But as soon as a fat person does it, they're thrust under a microscope. To be fair, Amberlynn Reid does vlog her life. She posts, I think, almost every single second of every day. However, I don't think that's an excuse to mock someone. I think it invites criticism, but I don't think it's an excuse to tear someone down. Another example is just the widespread, clear dislike for her. I know that a lot of people say that this is mainly because of her personality, and I do agree. I think her personality is kind of vile, but people will comment saying that they want the best for her, but at the same time they'll tear her down in the same paragraph. And if you really wanted the best for someone, would you really be hurting them in that way? There are so many other things to criticize Amberlynn for. You might be wondering what this whiteboard is for. I'm going to make a handy cheat sheet for you guys, anyone who's confused. You see how long this is? Alright, I've completed my fair game and uncool dude. I will read it through for you guys. Fair game. Transphobia. Alleged abuse. Animal abuse. Blatant lies. Manipulation. possibly lying about cancer diagnosis. And this is just as a casual viewer. I've racked these up. It's not hard to think of things. Uncool dude. Her weight, her appearance in general, her partner's appearances, and her hobbies, etc. Just... I feel like this should be simple. No matter how much you like a person, and trust me, I dislike Amberlynn Reid plenty. I do not like her at all. I think she's a really awful human being. I don't think at any point it's alright or okay to just downright mock someone for their body. It negates your whole argument. You have no other purpose than to tear that person down when you delegitimize your points by indulging in personal attacks. However, there are spaces where Amberlynn Reid should be taking responsibility for the content she puts out and the way she portrays her lifestyle online. As Inabber points out, I'll link his video below, the fact that Amberlynn Reid is making so much money off this touch-and-go weight loss journey is scary. He's also struggled with weight loss, and he points out that other people might see how lucrative this has been for her and might try to duplicate that success. Living the way Amberlynn Reid lives, and she does not fit into the fit and fat criteria, can be really dangerous and really hurtful for a lot of people, especially when their definition of fitness is a lot farther from maybe Amberlynn Reid's. She has even had an alleged cancer scare. I say alleged because people say that she might be lying about it. I'm not going to pass judgment on that. So I don't think that Amberlynn Reid should be mocked for her body, but I think she should be criticized for the example that she sets. Other reasons why Amberlynn Reid should be taking more responsibility and not blaming her fans for her failure in her weight loss journey, which is something she does too. She has the resources to get healthy food, a safe place to exercise, a personal trainer if she wants, a personal healthy chef. She has the money to pay for those things. She also has a large audience, even if they are hate watching her, and she has been consistently defensive and combative in response to constructive criticism. I do think it is time for Amberlynn to grow up and take responsibility for her life. So to wrap it all up, none of this is an excuse for her behavior. None of it. Fat phobia and fat shaming is disrespectful, and I don't think it has a place in a constructive criticism discussion. Even if someone broadcasts their whole life, it is not an excuse to shame them for their body. Her audience needs to be held to a higher standard. Name-calling is just immature, and it's really, really awful. I don't think people understand how much pressure fat people go through on a daily basis to lose weight. The added stigma around it and the hate that they get is just unhelpful. And normalizing fat shaming in the way that Tom Harlock did with his video is not okay. So always, these are just my thoughts. I do not speak for the fat community because I'm not part of it. I consider myself to be a recipient of thin privilege, which is a whole nother video, but thanks for leave your comments below. Have a great day, wear your mask.